Hey everyone, Chris Lambert with Film Colossus here, Narrative Experts. We got my rank and review of Prey. I'm a big Predator fan. I love the first and second movies. I recently did a ranking for Film Colossus of the Predator franchise, and it's like the first two movies are just so far and above the rest of the movies that have been made. I was hopeful that this would at least be good enough to be ranked in the top three, and it really was. I'm very happy with Prey. I enjoyed the spectacle of it from start to finish. Visually, it's probably the prettiest Predator movie that's ever been made, right? The first one, what's so amazing of the first one is how practical it is. Since it was made in the 80s, it just had to be practically driven. And then the 90s has some of that 90s action movie Paul Verhoeven RoboCop feel to it, which is also very exciting. And then let's not talk about the Alien versus Predator movies. I'm not as big of a fan of Predators as a lot of other people are. And I also like The Predator much more than what some other people do. But I don't think they're either of them are great movies. Predators is a little too derivative, and The Predator is just a little too insane. So Prey is just a great entry into this series and kind of reorients and resets the franchise and gives it some direction. I really think the Predator franchise moving forward should just do what Assassin's Creed, the video game, does. It's like Assassin's Creed has its ancient Rome setting. It has its ancient Greece setting. It has its ancient Egypt setting. It has its high seas pirate setting. Just do that. Throw the Predator into different civilizations in different time periods and just see what happens. I think that would be a lot of fun. Imagine World War I trenches Predator. Imagine medieval Predator, samurai Predator, Aztec Predator, Predator versus dinosaurs. All of these things are viable films that should exist. So doing Predator in Native American America with French settlers was just perfect. My one main complaint about the movie is that it did feel a little video gamey to me at times, especially when you compare it to Predator 1 and Predator 2. As sci-fi as the whole concept is, there's a groundedness to the action of Predator and Predator 2, where it's just normal people running around with this monster. And some of the action sequences in Prey felt almost like video game quick time events, more so than real people doing things with this alien that's right there. It was just a little too... I keep using this, if you read any of the things I wrote about on Film Colossus, this distinction between arcade versus simulation that you see in video games. So the video game Gran Turismo is a car racing video game that tries to be as realistic as possible in how it designs the cars and how the cars drive in the game. And that's simulation. They want to make it as realistic as possible. Where Mario Kart is not realistic racing at all. You're firing turtle shells at one another. That's more arcade style. So arcade doesn't just mean that it's an arcade video game machine, but it just means that things are a little more exaggerated and excessive rather than grounded and realistic. And a lot of the best video games find middle grounds for this. They might lean more simulation, but find a way to have arcade aspects to it, or they might be very arcadey, but find a way to just have simulation aspects. You only can carry so much in your backpack, right? That might be more simulation than arcade. Prey as a movie, the action sequences all felt very exaggerated and arcadey to me rather than grounded. So that's one of just my major complaints. I feel and my only major complaint, I think that might be something that is a selling point for some people and one of the excessive things that they love about the movie. But for me, I like a little bit more of the groundedness and realism rather than some of the arcade aspects. Her axe with the rope on it is a perfect example. It's cool. It looks cool. How she uses it is cool. It's just a little unbelievable. It might be the most unbelievable thing in a movie that has an alien from outer space coming down to hunt people. And then just the orange flower giving her immediate core body temperature lowering to the point where she's undetectable by the predator In the original movie, it's Arnold covering himself in mud, which makes sense. That's grounded. That's practical. This flour that you just immediately eat, and within 5 seconds, it cools your body temperature down to where it doesn't give off any heat. That's arcadey. That's video gamey. It's a little just beyond logic, which at least there is logic to it. They set it up in the course of the story. It's just, I complain about things like that. So I'm the kind of person that does. But regardless, I put Prey as number 12 out of 24 that I've ranked so far in 2022. It's in the positives category, near the top. Just that like quick-timey arcade aspects of it keep it, I think, from being really good, especially in comparison to some of the other movies I have in the really good category. I think all of these are just maybe a little more well-rounded overall. Like Prey, as good as it was in terms of the hunter versus hunter aspects of it, some other parts of the character world and journey are maybe a little underdeveloped. Which, I don't know, are you really going to develop them more, right? Are they really that developed in any of the other Predators? But I also think that's one of the other complaints you could levy against all the other Predator movies, that this is just one aspect in which they could like level up some of what they're doing. So I have it below The Northman and Nope. I think that's fair. Like Nope is such a larger movie that's doing more visually, it's doing more thematically. I have some complaints about Nope and how it's handling the story, but I ultimately think what it's aiming for and the highs that it has outweigh some of what Prey is doing. I think Prey is more successful in the story that it's telling, but I think Nope was swinging for the fences a little bit more. So I reward that. And same thing with The Northman. Like the visuals of The Northman are some of the craziest visuals I've ever seen in a movie. So it's just like from making the movie and actually that movie existing, I feel like Northman and Nope are a little more impressive. But I put Prey over Vengeance and Everything Everywhere All at Once just because from start to finish, I enjoyed it a little bit more. I thought it was a little more refined and knew what it was doing in a way that Vengeance felt maybe a little excessive and anticlimactic in comparison. So it's just, you can feel more the experience that Prey has and the team that put Prey together than maybe the team that put Vengeance together. And just Everything Everywhere All at Once, it comes up a lot in my 2022 reviews, but I'm just not as sold on it as everyone else. So Prey ends up at number 12, and that's it. Until next time, cheers.